Good morning, good morning, everyone. I am Senator Roxanne Persaud. Happy Monday. And this morning, I'd like to discuss with you. I'm going to read some information to you, actually. First of all, I hope you had a very good weekend. And the weather was good over the weekend. There was light snow yesterday, but uh, I think we had a good weekend. So, this morning, I'd like to discuss with you SNAP benefits. Why am I discussing SNAP benefits with you? Because many of you may know or may not know that on March 1st, there were new rules and regulations that are put in place. And so I am going to go over that briefly with you. And this is by no means um, telling you what you, as the individual who's receiving SNAP, should do. This is giving an overall review of the changes. We encourage every person who is receiving SNAP and needs to question anything with their benefits to contact their case manager to go over their eligibility. But today I'm going to go over some information with you. So, I also want to make sure that you're sharing this with others so that we are trying to prevent people from losing their SNAP benefits, hence this conversation or this discussion with you. So I'm going to just give you a brief overview. So it's changes to SNAP, what you should know. Last year, Congress passed and signed H.R. 1, also referred to as the Big Beautiful Bill Act. And H.R. 1 enacted numerous changes that impact states. So we wanted to make sure you understand that. It impacts states, taxpayers, and of course, you must know this, people who are considered vulnerable or less fortunate. Hence the conversation about SNAP eligibility. So I'm focusing H.R. 1's impact on SNAP, otherwise known as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, and the benefits in New York State and New York City. So SNAP has historically been the nation's leading anti-hunger tool, and H.R. 1 cuts nearly $200 billion over the next 10 years nationally. In New York, SNAP currently reaches over nearly 3 million, providing more than $6 billion in benefits annually. While there's always been strict eligibility requirements pertaining to income, work, and lawful presence, H.R. 1 imposes further restrictions that make certain vulnerable populations not eligible at all, or subjects them, those who are eligible, to additional requirements, specifically around work. So I want to make sure you understand that. So, H.R. 1, the impact on eligibility. Let's talk about that. So no longer eligible for SNAP or are lawfully present refugees. So across New York, we have a number of refugees who are here. These are lawful residents of the state and of the country, and those granted asylum, even if they are victims of human trafficking or domestic violence. So I want to make sure you understand that these are lawful residents. Remember, SNAP federal benefits are only for lawful residents. So just to clear that up. So H.R. 1 also imposes stricter work requirements on able-bodied adults without dependents, also known as ABODs, right? By removing waivers of the requirements effective February 28, 2026. So under federal law, ABODs are people who are ages 18 through 64. These were previously people ages 18 through 54. It's now ages 18 through 64. They're not living with a child under 14 and they're able to work. And there are approximately 123,000 ABODs in New York City. Okay, so again, under federal law, ages 18 through 64, you're not living with a child under the age of 14, and you're able to work. And 123,000 of those reside in New York City. So, previously, exemptions for ABOD requirements were veterans, youth aged out of foster care, unhoused individuals with families. Those specific exemptions no longer exist. So again, veterans, youth aged out of foster care, and unhoused individuals or families. Those exemptions no longer exist, though there may be other exemptions available to those populations. Again, contact your caseworker. So ABODs, and for those of you who are you hear me saying ABODs, those are able-bodied adults without dependents. They can receive SNAP for a maximum of 3 consecutive or non-consecutive months in a 3-year period before being subject to work requirements. And this is also known as the ABOD timeline. So New York's ABOD waiver expired on February 28th, and the rules went into effect yesterday, Sunday, March 1st. So if by June 1st, right, 3 months, an ABOD, it is a brief period there, has not demonstrated compliance with work rules, SNAP benefits will stop. In New York, the current 3-year period started on October 1st, 2023, and will end this year on September 30th. Okay, so if you're receiving SNAP benefits, again, I encourage you, and you're considered an ABOD, I'm encouraging you to contact your case worker. So as per the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance, OTDA, an ABOD may meet the ABOD work requirements in a number of ways, and those ways include including work in exchange for money or work in exchange for goods or services, also referred to as in-kind work, participating in a qualifying work or training program approved by HRA or the applicable county social service district where the person resides, participating in a program under the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, which may include job search, job readiness, occupational skills training, and education activities. Again, for each individual, contact your case manager. Also, to comply with the Work Experience Program, the WEP program, the assignment or volunteer in a community service program for the number of hours per month equal to the household's SNAP's benefit. Divided, it's complex, so I'm not going to go into how it's divided. I encourage you again to contact your case manager because each person's case is different. So as an ABOD, you must work or participate in the activities for at least 80 hours per month. 80 hours per month. Good morning, everyone who's joined. Good morning, Adrienne. Good morning, Anna, Kamala, Annette, Julia. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, I want to make sure you understand this. ABODs must work or participate in activities for at least 80 hours per month. 80. Excuse my voice. I still have like a kind of laryngitis, kind of. Okay. So ABODs engaging in community service may not necessarily need to work all the 80 hours. Again, you must contact your caseworker and they will go over that information with you. It is extremely important that you get in touch with your case manager so that you do not miss out on what is required for your specific benefit. We do not want any New Yorker who's receiving benefit to lose their benefit. So work requirements may be waived for people with disability or disabling physical or mental conditions. The individuals in New York City, you must speak with HRA, or if you're across New York State, your local county social service district to discuss any possible waiver or the submission of your medical statement. New York City residents can call 718-SNAP now. That's 718-762-7669 for this information, just to find out about that. So again, 718-762-7669. That's if you're a New York City resident. New York City, the 5 boroughs of New York City. Okay, so in the chat on Facebook, you will see the link to New York City specific, the medical statement, and also you'll see non-specific informational, the non-specific informational site. Again, each individual's case is different, so you cannot. It's not one size fits all. So I'll go over now. The AWOD requirements do not apply to individuals who are, for instance, if you're under 18 years of age, or if you're 65 years or older. Remember, the requirements have changed. It used to be the maximum age was 54. It's now 65. If you're pregnant, then there's a waiver that can be applied. If you're residing in a SNAP household with a child under the age of 14, and all of this information is coming from the official OTDA site and from what the federal government has placed out there. And I just wanted to give you a synopsis of the entire legislation. Okay, if you're medically certified as physically or medically unfit for employment, you can receive this waiver. If you're otherwise exempt from the general SNAP work requirements as they qualify for or any other legal exemption, with the exception of individuals between the ages of 60 and 64 who do not qualify for other exemptions. That's based on their age. So again, they're exemptions, but they are specific to categories and to individuals. So this summary here is to just make sure everyone knows what is happening. Effective March 1st, the requirements have changed, and you only have a 3-month grace period where you can still qualify before losing your benefits. And we want to ensure that nearly 123,000 residents of New York City are likely to lose their benefits if they are not complying. So again, make sure you're contacting your caseworker, etc. So I'm going to go over some other things. This is not about, people running around in fear and say, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my benefits. No, this is not about that. This is making sure people are informed as to what is happening and what may impact them. And each individual must check their requirements so that they do not lose their benefits. Again, I'm saying this, it's not a one size fits all regulation because it's per the individual, per the family. So again, direct any case specific questions to New York City HRA or your County Social Service District if you're outside of New York City. Again, we are going to post the link there for the site so that you have that information. And the OTDA site, which they're always keeping it up to date because again, we do not want New Yorkers across the state of New York to lose their benefits. HR 1 made additional significant changes to SNAP beyond narrowing eligibility and adding work requirements. It also shifts significant financial responsibility for SNAP administration to each state. So prior to the HR 1 being enacted, states shared the cost 50-50 with the federal government, and soon states and counties will be required to cover 75% of the administration cost and only receive remaining 25% from the federal government. So the New York State Association of Counties estimated that counties will have to absorb about $170 million in additional costs, with New York City alone responsible for over $100 million for administering SNAP benefits. So we want to make sure people understand this. It is an expensive benefit that's for administration, and so we want everyone to understand that. So prior to the HR 1, the actual SNAP benefits loaded onto EBT cards were paid 100% by the federal government. So now HR 1 now subjects states to up to 15% of that cost sharing, which will depend on what is called payment error rate. So a payment error rate does not mean there is fraud. So just so everyone knows, this has nothing to do with fraud. We have very strict rules across New York State, checking and making sure. So, but the error rates are overpayments or underpayments of awarded benefits. So we were working with OTDA to find ways to reduce New York's payment error rates in order to mitigate the further cost sharing liability. Um, One thing we're seeing this year's budget is a proposal from the governor to include up to $70 million that would cover, be able to have us pay the federal government if New York is penalized. And we are doing our darndest. I know OTDA is working with all of the social service districts to ensure our error rates are decreased so we would not be penalized by the federal government. And so when some of you may be asking, what can cause an error rate? It can be that the information that was entered, there's a missing information that's there, and so someone was underpaid, or someone missing information, and someone didn't say something, somebody moved out or something, and someone was overpaid, and so the districts recoup that money. But the federal government looks at all of that and they consider errors. It's many times it's not the fault of the person who is receiving the benefits, but sometimes because paperwork, it can happen. So HR 1 has also effectively wiped out any funding for SNAP education. So you had educators within the social service districts and other aid organizations who were tasked with making sure that the constituents across districts understood how to apply for benefits, who qualifies, etc., and making sure, they understood what they were eligible for. And remember, SNAP is only for people who are qualified, who are legal residents of this country. So with the elimination of the funding for SNAP education, and less federal funding will be going to nutrition outreach and educational programs, commonly known as NOEP. So I've been advocating for, in the state budget, to include the $30 million to continue the SNAP education and over $8 million to fund NOEP. I'd be remiss if I didn't also mention the dire need to protect New Yorkers against skimming. We knew that during the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, many people were, losing their SNAP benefits because people were stealing it. They would go attempt to use their cards and their money was just being skimmed, and they would not have money to purchase food. Remember, SNAP is about ensuring that no one goes hungry and making sure children, in particular, seniors, are not hungry. It's getting them food on the table, making sure they have nutritious meals daily. And so with skimming, people were without food, and hence you saw many more people going to pantries and because that's their only other option. And so we have been talking about this for a number of years, about tightening the security on the EBT cards. And EBT cards are not chip enhanced. Your credit card, your bank card, you have that chip, and that you can tap it, you can swipe it, you can slide it, and that chip is red. But EBT cards, and this is across the country, so this is not unique to New York, that EBT cards are not chip enhanced. And so we've been asking the federal government, you have to get permissions and all of it, and for funding to assist us in purchasing, getting a vendor to do the EBT card. There are only 2 other states who've actually gotten it done so far. And so New York is now going to do that. And so we've gotten in this budget nearly $30 million because it's going to be very expensive, because remember, every card will have to be replaced. And so that's about $30 million to transition from the current EBT card to the chip enhanced cards. And so HR1 is making this um, even tougher through the budget this year. So I'm really fighting to make sure this initiative is funded. Again, we want to ensure that when someone goes to use their EBT card, that there's no like, oh my God, there's no money there. I had money there and there's no money there, and you cannot purchase your food. And so, again, I want to go over these things with you. ABOD, if you're considered ABOD and you do not have a child under the age of 14 in your household, the requirements are pertaining to you. Please contact your case manager to find out what is it you need to do. The links are also on this live video so that you can click on it and read all of the details that are there. Remember, you need to be working at least 80 hours per month, and working, when the term work has many things that can be done to be categorized as work. So again, check with your social service case manager and go online and check it. There's a telephone number that I gave out for you to find out for people who think that they qualify for a waiver. Again, if you're a person with a disability or a disabling physical or mental condition, you should speak with HRA in New York City or your social service district outside of New York City. We want to make sure you do not lose benefits that you are entitled to. Again, ABOD, the requirement does not apply to individuals who are under 18 years of age or over 65, if you're pregnant, and some other categories. So please make sure you read the information and click on the links. It will give you that. We do not want anyone losing their benefits that they are entitled to. We're talking about, ensuring that 123,000 New York City residents who are qualified right now for SNAP benefits do not lose those benefits. So that's my conversation about SNAP for today. If you live in New York City and the work rules may apply to you, contact New York City HRA. If you live outside of New York City, contact your county social service department. Do not wait. If you wait until June, that's going to be too late, because you're like, oh yeah, I have a 3-month grace period. No, because you never know what it is that you're required to submit to qualify and how long that process will take. So you do it now, because if you lose your benefits, that's it. So SNAP benefit changes went into effect on March 1st, and we want to make sure everyone understands what these changes are. So please do not hesitate. Contact your case manager, contact HRA, go online, call the telephone number, and get the information that's pertaining to your benefit. Remember, everyone's requirement is not the same. Your household configuration may not be the same. The disability that you have may not be the same. The disability your child has may not be the same. So we want to ensure that you are following up to make sure your benefits remain intact. So again, I'm Senator Persaud saying happy Monday, making sure you start off your Monday understanding what you need to do in a timely manner, and then you go from there. So enjoy the rest of the day. Contact our office if you have additional questions about anything across that's happening in Albany, that any questions you may have. Our district office's number is 718-649-7653. Good morning, Michelle. Again, 718-649. Hello, Nicole. Hello, Sherry. Yes, Sherry. We know it's not an individual case manager. They call it, but Because we say case manager because you're going to be speaking with someone there, and that's what it's called. So you're going to be speaking with someone there. Each person knows that who they need to speak with, and that's why we gave them the telephone number. And so we're using the term case manager in a general sense. You call and you speak with a case manager at your local social service district, or if you're in New York City, you're calling New York City HRA. Those are the correct places. When you speak with someone there, whatever term they're called there, we're saying to you, it's a case manager, someone who is going to be looking at your information and speaking with you. So you call the numbers that we gave for HRA in New York City. That number again is 718-762-7669. And if you're outside of New York City, you call your local social service district. So if anyone reading the chat, do not worry about the comment that's there. That's the number you're calling. We're using the term case manager as the person you will be speaking with. Okay, you're calling that the agency, and you will be speaking with someone. When we call that agency, they'll always tell us a case manager will contact us when we're calling on behalf of constituents also. So we want you to make sure you get your information that's pertaining to you and then go from there. So again, the links are in the chat. Clicking on the link for OTDA, telling you all the requirements, and because we want you to do this as soon as possible. accessnyc.gov, we have that information there. We have everything there for you. So again, thank you for listening. Make sure you share this information with anyone you know who is receiving SNAP benefits, because again, as I said, each person's case is a different scenario, and we want you to speak with someone at HRA in New York City or your local social service district and get the information pertaining to you, and so that you do not lose your SNAP benefit. Have a great day, everyone. Happy Monday, and we'll see you around. I'm Senator Persaud saying bye-bye. Thank you for listening.